Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show on Hotline Radio. And I am so excited to be interviewing another amazing individual in the community. The show is about conversations that matter. People from all walks of life come and share their heart stories and transforming lives through these stories. And the lady we have on the line is the founder of Power Focus Coaching, and she's a leadership and life coach. Please welcome Anny Tenbult to the show. How are you doing today, Anny?
Great. Thank you very much, Nikki. I'm just excited to be here as well. You can tell I'm just had a lot of good things happen and to those around me as well. So it always makes me feel pretty happy. And usually people, after they've been coached, they feel that way too.
Absolutely. Well, I certainly get that, that those good vibrations from you. And you know what I always say? There's latitude in gratitude. So whatever you're grateful for, I find that the world always opens up more for you when you're always in a spirit of thanks. So let's talk about your background leading up to what you're doing today as a Power Focus Coach, a leadership and life coach.
Okay. I'm just trying to think. There's a number of things, but it was interesting. I was going through some old things from my mom's house, and I came across that I was picked back when I was a teenager to go to a leadership camp. So that's really when it all started. So it's quite a while ago. I hadn't thought about it, but, I said, well, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. But it was somebody that believed in me. So it was a leader, and he said, you are the person, you are a leader. I see what you're doing, I want you to represent Ontario. That's quite a high honor.
It is.
Yeah, so that's basically where it started, because I didn't believe in me, and I nothing against, my family background or anyone else. It's just they didn't really know how to do that, whereas this leader, and I don't know if you've ever heard of 4-H clubs.
I have.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was a Brownie and, Girl Guide, so we know the kind of the sisterhood branches around us, yeah.
Okay, so then you have an idea. And this is more when you're a teenager. And, this agricultural leader saw me as a leader, even though I wasn't in any of the executive positions, but I got everybody else to do things. In a nice way, but, because I was more of that quiet person at the time, but I'm not in that way anymore. So I do understand others that feel that way and act that way. And that's one of the other things that I do with my business is, work with different behavioral styles. And so I've been in all of them. That's just kind of interesting. I've worked with all of them, and I've been myself. We all are parts of all of them. But when I was younger, I was much more quiet. They almost call me shy, but when I really look back on it, I actually won speech contests when I was in grade school. So I wasn't really shy per se. I just didn't really talk as much as the rest of, the population, unless I was in front of the room. I enjoyed that very much. So that helps me in what I'm doing now as well. I do quite a bit of speaking to different groups. I speak for the Physiotherapy Association, Medical Council of Canada, various, groups that want me to come in, do some lunch and learns. And, I have fun with it, and they seem to have fun with it because they keep asking me back. So. I like to have fun while learning, and I notice that everybody else does too, because I find a lot of things are pretty dry, and especially when you're working on yourself, it can be sometimes a bit, more difficult. And so if you can make it a touch light, you don't want to laugh at anyone, of course, but if you can learn to laugh at yourself. So
yes.
I tell a lot of stories about myself, and I laugh at them because some of them are pretty funny. So,
Sure.
And if you can laugh at yourself, then it helps. And it also, people can then relate, and they go, oh, she did that, she had that, okay, well, I can tell her about my story. Then they can reveal themselves a little bit more. So I do that either one-on-one with people or in groups. Obviously, if it's something pretty personal, the person doesn't have to go there if they don't, feel comfortable. But I find people, when I'm working with them, they tend to go there fairly quickly because, what do they have to lose? With me, it's, that's one thing about coaching, and, I follow the International Coaching Federation's ethics where, what is said between me and the individual or group is kept confidential. That's
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Annie, that brings up the question for me. What makes a good leader? What are some of the qualities that you feel, say the top 3 qualities for a great leader?
Well, courage is a big one. You got to have courage to do something different, courage to be ready to change, be a good listener is a big one too. Be open. I guess that's being open to change. Quite often there's some uniqueness that makes that individual different. Otherwise, they wouldn't be a leader, because if everybody was a leader, well, then you wouldn't have, because we're all followers at certain points, right, and with certain people at certain times. But we all can be leaders as well, but at certain points and times. So being unique so that people will want to listen to you and learn from you is very good as well as a leader. So people will want to follow what you're saying, what you're doing. And being very grateful. And if you do have to criticize or, say something constructive, do it in a nicer way.
Sure.
So I find those are, and charismatic. I find personally I really like it when a leader is charismatic. They know how to speak. They know how to talk to people. They know how to engage. They know how to get you to do things for them. I find that's a really great quality in a leader as well. But there's lots of great qualities, but I'd say those are also that they're willing to show love in whatever way that is for them. I mean, some people it's, a pat on the back, or it's, I saw something this morning at the graduation I was at where the person I was there for, his boss was there, and he actually bought, because he knows, when you're finished graduating university, and especially a PhD, how many years you've gone to university, you really can't afford too many things at that point. And his fairly new boss bought him a beautiful frame for his PhD, diploma. So I thought that's a nice touch. Like that's a nice, grateful, and beautiful way to say thank you to someone, for him working in their company. But here you go. This is something you can have the rest of your life. So
fantastic.
I thought that was beautiful.
No, the people that come to you, they gravitate to you for your coaching. How do you get them unstuck? Can you think of one particular scenario of someone who came to you for professional advice, and maybe that professional advice trickled down into their personal life and you saw transformation? Can you think about a time like that with us?
Okay. Whenever I'm coaching someone, it's your business life is not just business. Your personal life flows in there as well. It used to be, many years ago, people would say, try to separate the two. Well,
right.
That's not reality. Because it does, if something's not going right in your personal life, it will affect your business, and same vice versa. So what you want to do is be able to get unstuck in whatever area it is, and that's what's nice about what I do. I work in both areas. So if a person's stuck, I do something called power coaching with mind kinetics. So I have many, many different tools, and what I do is I ask questions from different parts of your brain, so that you learn to become a bilateral thinker, so you can think from both the right and left side of the brain, because each side has different ways of processing and different information that can help to problem solve. So what I do with those questions is because I'm asking, the different questions, a person has an easier time to get the right answer for them. See, it's not actually me getting the answer, the individual. It's more empowering if you get the answer yourself.
Right.
And you can do that if you're able to open up. And what happens is you unblock by the more questions that you ask. You know, and they see the pieces. And sometimes we do age regression, going back to when that actually started, and see the repeated pattern. It could have started when you were 5, but then it happened again when you were 12, and it happened again when it keeps happening. And it's nice to nip that in the butt if you can and pull it out by the root, rather than just touching it. And that's what coaching can do if you have a good coach that has some good training. It makes a big difference.
Okay. Well, Anny, I've learned quite a bit about you and a little bit about leadership and the qualities and just how people can get out of that kind of, I guess, funk, or, you're just kind of spinning your wheels and stagnant in a way in their professional or personal life, and how they can just tap into probably what they already know, but they need someone like you to help them find their way out into the light, out of that dark tunnel. So, Anny, I appreciate your time with us. And can you just let us know how we can connect with you, either through social media or phone number or website, so we can get in touch with you and connect on how to get coaching for ourselves?
Okay. It's powerfocuscoaching.com or Anny Tenbult on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I also, have a Facebook business page, which is Power Focus Coaching.
Okay, excellent. Well, Anny, I just want to thank you again for your time, and I look forward to meeting you face-to-face in Gatineau, Quebec. And if you're in the Gatineau, Ottawa area, June 28th, you're more than welcome to come down for our taping, the Nikki Clarke Show live at La Creole Express, 61 Wellington Street, and you can meet Anny and get to know more about her and her Power Focus Coaching company. So, Anny, thank you again. We wish all the listeners a blessed and productive day. You've been listening to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show with our very special guest, Anny Tenbult. And, Anny, you have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Nikki Clarke. Bye now.
You're welcome. Bye-bye now.